The village of Nwakporo had not seen Reverend Sister Chidima in years. Her sudden return stirred the air as whispers filled the streets. Her mission, however, was not one of simple nostalgia. She had come with a vision, an unsettling vision. The ancient tree, revered as a protector of the village, was something far more sinister. It was not a guardian but a curse that had been feeding on the lives of the children for generations. The village elders scoffed at her warnings. The tree had stood for centuries, they said. It was a symbol of strength, of resilience. They refused to believe that the source of their protection could also be their doom. But Sister Chidima knew better. She called for prayers, for fasting, for divine intervention. She enlisted her fellow nuns, preparing them for a war against the evil she felt creeping into their very bones. However, just as the sisters were preparing to return to the convent and gather more help, tragedy struck. While driving alone through the village roads, Sister Chidima's car suddenly swerved off the road, crashing into a deep ditch. Her body was found lifeless, her mission unfinished. Her death sent a wave of grief and confusion through Nwakporo. The villagers could not make sense of the loss, and the elders, silent in their guilt, said nothing more. The curse, it seemed, had taken its toll. But the village was not yet free. The deaths continued. Children were found dead in their beds, their faces frozen in fear. The villagers began to notice a strange shift in the air. The wind that once carried the scent of sweet soil now felt cold and unwelcoming. Even the animals, the loyal dogs and grazing goats, seemed disturbed by the looming presence of something darker. Chijioke, a young man from the village, became increasingly unsettled. He had heard stories of the tree from his elders, of how it protected the village from evil spirits and invaders from beyond the river. But now, there was an unnatural stillness in the land. Driven by curiosity and a growing sense of dread, Chijioke ventured to the tree one evening, hoping to uncover the truth. What he found shook him to his core. The tree's roots had expanded, more twisted and gnarled than ever before. The air around it was thick with an oppressive energy, one that seemed to swallow sound. As he touched the rough bark, visions flooded his mind, visions of children being sacrificed, their lives offered up in exchange for the protection of the village. The tree, he realized, was not merely a protector, it was a prison, and the lives of those sacrificed had fueled its strength. He stumbled back, heart racing, unable to process the horror of what he had witnessed. The elders had lied. The tree was evil, and they had known it all along. As Chijioke began to piece together the truth, the elders convened in secret. They knew that the curse was not something that could be ignored. Pa Agbana, the eldest of the elders, spoke with a heavy heart. "The time has come," he said, his voice trembling with regret. "The tree's grip has tightened. We have allowed it to feed off our fear and ignorance for too long." The plan was simple but dangerous. They would go to the tree, confront the evil that had taken hold of their land, and break the curse. But Pa Agbana made it clear. If even one elder hesitated, the entire village would be at risk. On the night they set out to confront the tree, something unsettling happened. The air grew colder, the wind whipped at their faces, and the ground beneath their feet seemed to shift. The villagers who gathered at the site were struck by an overwhelming sense of being watched. The trees rustled ominously, though no wind had come. Then, as if summoned by some dark force, the tree began to move. The roots that had once been still twisted violently, and a deep, low groan rumbled from within the earth. The villagers gasped in terror as the ground trembled beneath them. At that moment, a figure appeared at the base of the tree. It was Reverend Sister Chidima, standing in the fading light. Her eyes burned with an unnatural fire, and her presence seemed to command the very earth itself. "You have come," she said, her voice steady but filled with something otherworldly. "But you are too late." Sister Chidima revealed the truth. The tree had not been a protector, but a force that had lived for centuries, feeding off the sacrifices of the innocent. The villagers had unknowingly traded their children's lives to keep the village safe, but the price was higher than they could ever understand. As the tree's branches shook, and its roots began to break the earth open, Chijioke realized they were running out of time. The ancient evil that had lived for so long was awakening, and they had no choice but to destroy it. Sister Chidima, with the power of God and the spirits of the earth, stepped forward. She held her rosary high, and with a final prayer, she touched the tree. A shockwave of energy rippled through the ground, the air, and the very fabric of reality itself. The tree screamed, a deafening, agonizing wail that reverberated through the village. Chijioke and the others covered their ears, unable to bear the sound of its tormented death. The ground beneath them split open, and the once mighty tree began to fall, crumbling into a heap of charred bark and broken roots. But in that moment, just as the last of the tree's power seemed to vanish, Sister Chidima disappeared. One moment, she was there, the next, she was gone. The destruction of the tree left a scar on the earth, but it also brought freedom to the people of Nwakporo. The air felt lighter, the sun brighter. For the first time in years, there were no mysterious deaths, no whispers in the wind, and no dark presence lurking in the shadows. However, the village was not completely free. Chijioke, now a young man burdened with the knowledge of the curse, could not shake the feeling that something was still watching over them. He could not ignore the feeling that Sister Chidima had not truly left. As the days passed, Chijioke began to sense a presence, faint but unmistakable. She had not gone to the heavens as some believed. Instead, she had become one with the earth, a spirit bound to the land she had saved. One evening, Chijioke ventured back to the site of the tree. The land had healed, but there was still something there, something that called to him. As he knelt by the scar in the earth, he felt the ground tremble once again. And then she appeared. Reverend Sister Chidima stood before him, her white habit glowing faintly in the moonlight. She smiled, and her voice, though soft, echoed with divine authority. "I never left, Chijioke. I became part of the earth, part of the land I helped to heal." Her presence was not one of the living but of the eternal, a spirit bound to protect the village long after her mortal body had fallen. Chijioke felt tears welling in his eyes. "But why did you leave us?" he whispered. "We need you." She shook her head. "No, Chijioke. You are the leader now. You must carry on the work I started. The curse is broken, but the village still needs guidance." And with those words, she faded once more, leaving Chijioke standing alone, a leader who had inherited a burden far greater than he had ever imagined. Years passed, and Nwakporo slowly rebuilt. Chijioke led the village with strength and wisdom, always remembering Sister Chidima's words. The village prospered, free from the curse that had haunted it for centuries. But in the quiet moments, when the wind blew through the trees and the moonlight bathed the land in silver, Chijioke would feel her presence, a faint whisper in the air, a soft prayer on the wind. And in those moments, he knew that the curse was gone, but the spirit of protection remained. And so Nwakporo lived on, with a new understanding of life, death, and the land that sustained them. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, and also drop a decent comment.
Future bright and shining gold, dreams of battles never told, evil Gina's darkest plot, crushed beneath in one swift shot. Chase the shadows, break the fall, truth will rise and conquer all. Hope and joy together grown. Life is made, your heart's your throne. Stand up strong and claim your light. Fight the dark with all your might. Happiness is yours to find. Let the past be left behind. Every struggle makes you brave. From the ashes you will pave pathways leading to your dreams. Nothing ever what it seems. Evil plans now turning dust. Breathing deep in hope you trust. Rise above